Barakah, Halayimla, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. I want to give a double honors to the apostles and elders that prophesied and rule well for the hopeful 144 and 1/3 of Yasharallah, who this world refers to as Israel, starting at the house of Great Millstone. Shalom to you, Akim, who teach and learn in sincerity. Shalom to the Akwith, who learn in sincerity. It's your brother, Kanan. And this will be titled, It's a Bloody World, okay? And we're not talking about the cosmos world, the world of Yasharallah. We're not talking about the eon, the time we're living in, which it does refer to that, but we're talking about the whole earth, okay? The world is bloody, all right? Due to what? To the world conflicts set off by who? The wicked, all right? Starting with the elites of the wicked, all right? Starting with Esau, Edom, okay? Who's brought this on this world, these conditions. What does this say? Israel targeting Syria. Israel just came to a peace agreements with Hamas, okay, if you want to say, and what was that? Iran, okay. So now what do? They switch their conflict over to Syria, okay. We also know the genocide is ongoing and with Gaza, okay, but this is much bigger than this Israel, okay, but it is Israel is a major player in this, okay. So the first thing, a little bit of information I want to get you is I typed in how many wars are ongoing. According to recent reports, there are currently 56 ongoing conflicts around the world, making the highest number since World War II, okay? And haven't the seers and the prophets, been telling you that we're in World War III, okay? Yes, mortar shells and rockets haven't flew over to United States of America, but you can guarantee they will. And Adawan Ratazar, we're going to cover that in this lesson, okay? Making the highest number since World War II, with many conflicts involving multiple countries beyond their borders, okay? And who's the number one suspect that comes into the heart and mind? Edom, Esau, okay? Okay, I had another one. Okay, so let's get to these scriptures, okay? This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, starting at verse 3. And as he being Yahweh Shai, sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the signs of thy coming? Of who? Of Yahweh Shai return, okay? And the end of this world. What world? The rulership of Edom. See, they was back in that Roman Edom, the Roman leadership led by Edom, which is today's current system that we're in. All right. Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. Okay. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Once again, what did I just read to you? There are over 56 ongoing conflicts, okay, with many of these countries outside their borders, all right? Also, these conflicts are they're not decreasing, they're increasing. And what did it also say? The most since World War II. So what does that tell you? There will be wars and rumors of wars. And don't we have more rumors of wars taking off right now? More conflict ahead to come. All right. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. OK, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famine and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. And these earthquakes are popping up everywhere on large scales, the 6 and 7s never seen before. OK, all these things are the beginning of sorrows. OK, these are the beginning. All right. This is the book of Jeremiah 50 and 47, or Salakia and 45. Therefore, hear ye the counsel of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua that I have taken against Babylon and his purpose. Okay, spiritual Babylon over here in the United States of America. Okay, that he have purpose against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock. Now, who is the least of the flock? The allies to spiritual Babylon. The Ish people, the bastard that dwell in Astroth, the Israelis because they occupy the land, okay? Not because they are the people, all right? The least of the flock being Amalek, the least of what flock? Edom, Esau's, okay? Shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their inhabitations desolate with them, okay? At the noise of the taken, Babylon, Salakia, at the noise of the taking of Babylon, once again, is spiritual Babylon. So this is written. The earth is moved and the cry is heard amongst the nations. Why? Because the nations have been in bed with this whore, living deliciously off of her ports. Okay. This is the book of 2nd Esdras and 15. Starting at verse 28. Behold, a horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east, okay? The east, Western Asia, all right? Where the nations of the dragons, who is that? That's Ishmael, okay? Your Iraqs, your Irans, okay? Your Syrias, all right? Where the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and with multitudes of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Okay, and haven't you seen these efforts of these other nations start to ramp up and defense against Israel for their bully tactics? Because why? Because they have who? The whore, spiritual Babylon, United States of America backing them, aiding them financially and with weapons. Okay, military and financial backing. All right. So let's get this first video. Fair use, fair use. Fair use copyright. I'm not selling a product. This is strictly educational purposes. Okay. Once again, this is a bloody world that we live in.
Israel has a new target. They have already leveled Gaza, they have a truce with Lebanon, and now Prime Minister Netanyahu has turned his sights to Syria. He's pounding them with airstrikes. The attack started on Sunday, almost as soon as Bashar al-Assad's regime fell, and it's continued well into this week. Some 350 airstrikes were carried out in the last 48 hours. 350 airstrikes. Israel has released footage of their operations. Take a look.
I'm going to pause this just for a second. This is the extent that Ben not a Jew, okay, is willing to go to evade him and his cabinet going to court, being tried as the terrorists, as the treasonous that they are. Remember that he has conflict within his own country. His own countrymen want him to be removed. And if he steps out of power, where is he going? Straight to trial, okay? So this is what him and his administration is willing to put his country to, and the allies of the beast, NATO, okay?
And what are they targeting? Assets of the Syrian military. We're not talking about rebel factions or the Kurds. We're talking about the military of the fallen regime. Their research centers, their weapons factories, their ammunition depots, their naval assets, all of it has been destroyed by Israel. They used a combination of drones and fighter jets for this. Sites all over Syria were targeted, in Damascus, in Homs, in Tartus, in Palmyra, and in Latakia. And the damage is quite extensive. I'll show you the aftermath of two such attacks. One on a research center in the capital, Damascus, and second on Syria's naval fleet. Take a look.
Okay, so you see that where the Ish people are going right now is drawing them out. They're doing everything to fulfill the prophecy of at least the least of the flock shall draw them out, which is the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Okay. Also, with that being said, all of this is a must because right here, the book once again, Second Esdras. This time, chapter 6. See, this is what's with the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is, okay? Second Esdras, chapter 6 and verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. So when they was in Rebekah's womb, they was fighting, okay? Esau came out first, and Jacob was attempting to pull him back in by the heel. Spiritually, Jacob was saying that you will be the last of this earth in this wicked kingdom, and the righteous kingdom will come behind you, led by Yahweh Shai. Okay? And who is that righteous kingdom? Yasharallah, you so-called African Americans, Native Americans, Hispanics. Okay? For Esau is the end of this world, the end of this eon, this current time, okay? From the Romans, from coming out, the what they call the Dark Ages, from the Renaissance, okay? From that wound, all right, that deadly wound that he healed from, all right, all the way to now, where it's his time to go back down, but this time down for good, okay? For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of that which followeth, okay? So this chaos that you see pursuing right now it's a must. The scriptures say offenses must come. Okay. Now, this is what we got to be in fear for. This is why we got to fear Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua for fear of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, not of flesh. Okay. And worshiping Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, not man. This is Revelations 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe, destruction, anguish, terror, destruction to the inhabitations of the earth and the seas. For the devil, who is the devil? The wicked, Edom, Esau, is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. Okay? And that starts with the elites. Your Rockefellers, DuPonts, okay? The people behind the scenes that you never see. They know that they have only but a short time to try to bring in this, their legacy, the New World Order, okay? Which is not going to be accomplished, said Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, but it's their will to set it up, okay? And it's the will of his left hand that they attempt to set it up, okay? He has instructed them to have this heart, to have this lob. This is Habakkuk 2. Starting at verse 5. Ye also, because ye transgress by wine, he is a proud man, neither if keep at home, who enlarges his desires as hell, okay, as hell, the conditions that we're in, okay, making them worse and worse and worse. All right, I liken it to Snow White as the witch is in control. Look at all the land is desolate, dead, okay. All right, all the soils is dying. The life around you is dying, okay? And is as death, what did I just say? And cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations. Now, who do we know with this characteristic? Esau, Edom, the blood eater, man. That never runs from blood, never abstains from it. He heapeth unto himself all people, all nations. What is spiritual Babylon, spiritual Egypt, United States of America, the melting pot? Okay, what do they do if you're not over here? They taking your shit over there and trying to transform it to look like over here, to resemble them, their way, which is wickedness. Habakkuk 2:6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, a taunting parables against him, and say, woe, once again, destruction to him that increaseth that which is not his. Isn't that what's happening in Gaza? Okay, didn't it happen, period, when they stepped into that land, 1948? That's not their land. That belongs to you, Jake. You so-called African Americans, Native Americans, Hispanics. That's the 12 tribes of Yasharalah's land, okay? Which is not his. How long? And to him that letteth himself with thick clay. What is that clay? Debt. What is United Snakes of America's debt? That they can no longer pay or support because the dollar is dead. I don't want Ratazar, we're going to get that. The debt is 34 trillion and they claim to have paid one back. And we're past the deadline. Okay, what now? Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee? And thou shalt be for boobies unto them, because thou hast spoiled many nations. Oh, haven't they? Trump, the guy that you putting back in, Nero, that you putting back in office. Hamani died like a dog. He died like a dog. Okay, they have spoiled many nations. Every nation that has come against their wicked way of rulership. That's what they've done. And the remnant of the people shall spoil thee because of man's blood and for the violence of the land. Of what land? All the lands. All the lands. For the city, of the city and of all that dwell therein. Woe to him that covereth an evil coverness to his house, that he may set his nest on high. Now, who does that? Who believes they're above all and their authority is above all? Once again, Edom, Esau, whether it be United States of America or Russia, they all play. And then they're not the only two Edomite, France. All of them have their hand in thinking that their way of logic should rule over all nations. Okay, not the rule of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Though thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people. And who's the number one people that they wish to cut off? You, Yasharallah, and has sinned against thy soul. Okay, mainly because they don't have any honor for thy soul, none whatsoever. Okay, and back to these videos.
Claiming that more and more countries are, quote, ditching the US dollar. And while some of it might sound...
that thick clay and what's going to happen. And what's the solution to getting around dealing with the United Snakes of America economically, okay?
Like media hype, there's actually a lot of truth behind these moves, and it's a story worth understanding.
The dollar is a dominant international currency. This gives the US an enormous amount of power when it wants to invoke financial sanctions.
At the forefront of this shift are, of course, the BRICS nations: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. But let's be real, the major players driving this change are Russia and China.
In response to Western sanctions on some members, BRICS countries have accelerated the development of an independent international payment system.
But to understand the gravity of what's currently happening with these BRICS countries, we first need to understand what it means for the US to be the world's reserve currency. And the best way to start talking about this is by talking about global trade. Most of the transactions that occur as a part of trade between countries happen in US dollars, and that gives the US enormous leverage. In fact, 96% of trade invoicing in the Americas, 74% in the Asia Pacific region, and 79% in the rest of the world is conducted in USD. The only exception is Europe, where the euro is dominant. Commodities like gold and oil are priced in US dollars, regardless of where they come from. And ultimately, what this dominance means is that countries need to keep a stash of US dollars to be able to buy and sell stuff in this international trade system. It's kind of like if I went to the US and I tried to buy a Big Mac with my Australian dollars. They're not going to take that. I need to buy US dollars to then buy the burger. I need to have a reserve of USD to make sure I can buy the things that I need. So that's the first element. The second is that when these trade transactions take place between countries, not only are they most commonly cleared in US dollars, but they most commonly take place through US-based banks. And this is really the secret sauce that gives the US so much global power. Why? Because, well, if they get cranky, they can block these trade transactions. And in a lot of cases, that's what's predominantly happening when the US imposes financial sanctions on a country. For example, the United States has imposed extensive trade sanctions on Iran for decades, primarily in response to concerns over Iran's nuclear program, ballistic missile development, and support for terrorism. Now, in 2022, the US prohibited American banks and institutions from processing dollar-denominated transactions involving Iran. Now, this effectively barred Iran from accessing the global dollar clearing network, as all dollar transactions must pass through the US banking system. Now, that wasn't the only way the US flexed their muscles to impose sanctions on Iran, but just that one factor alone meant that Iran's ability to sell oil internationally was drastically reduced. In fact, have a look at this timeline of Iranian oil exports. The US imposed sanctions here in 2012. Exports dropped dramatically. Then in 2015, Iran signed a nuclear deal with the US, UK, France, China, Russia, and Germany, and sanctions were lifted. Their oil exports rose from 1 million barrels per day in 2015 to over 2.5 million barrels per day by 2017. And then in 2018, Trump reinstated the sanctions once again, and their exports fell to 330,000 barrels a day in late 2019. This is the kind of power the US has just by being the world's reserve currency. They can totally manipulate the economy of a country on the other side of the world just by clicking a few buttons.
If in fact we can get a deal, then we should embrace that. If we can't get a deal, then we'll have to make a set of decisions. And
so I'm gonna stop you here. United States of America no longer has this power grip on the nations. The weaponry of everybody has come up. I don't want Roch's out. We're going to get that. They're tired of being manipulated. They're tired of being bullied. And that's what BRICS is. BRICS is nations that come together saying that your enemies are my enemies. And it's time to defeat this number one enemy, starting with the West, starting with the snakes of United States of America. OK, so once again, it doesn't matter who's in the power seat. The time has come. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is pulling the plug on this place. OK,
made a desperate dash to settle tariff tensions.
And tonight we're getting some new details about that Trump-Trudeau dinner from two people who were at the table. We are told that when Trudeau told President-elect Trump that new tariffs would kill the Canadian economy, Trump joked to him that if Canada can't survive without ripping off the U.S. to the tune of $100 billion a year, then maybe Canada should become the 51st state and Trudeau could become its governor. Brett.
Of more on that detail with the panel. Peter, thank you.
Donald Trump confirmed this, saying Trudeau flew over immediately after the tariff announcement.
So I spoke with Justin Trudeau. In fact, he flew to Mar-a-Lago within about 15 seconds after the call ended. He was at Mar-a-Lago. We were having dinner talking about it.
This commentator said, Justin knows who the boss is. And it seems like Trump's comments are hitting a lip.
Before she goes on, for the last 2 years, I've been saying this for at least 2 years. When the scriptures, and we're going to get that, when the scripture said the whore shall make, the beast shall make war with the whore that rides upon it, that is the allies of United States of America known as NATO, the EU and NATO. Okay, so when you say that, when the Lord is telling us which one of the who's going to start it off, I've been saying that United States of America is going to push Canada, the neighbor, the north neighbor, to send in one of those cruise missiles over here. It doesn't have to be a ICBM. No, it won't be an ICBM, but it's going to do some major damage to some of these cities. Some of these cities. That's just coming from my lab. I've been saying this for 2 years. I could see Canada launching right now. Okay, it's so funny how Trump can say about anything and get away with it. Is that charismatic? Or what? Okay, so if Biden tells you that, Canada should just be another state to United States, suddenly feathers are ruffled and people are offended and he's out of his goddamn mind. Trump says this and it's humorous. It's a joke, okay? Well, let's see how Canada thinks about that, though, at the end of the day.
Too close to home for Canadian Green Party leader Elizabeth May, who seemed very triggered when asked about the running joke.
Trump on his Truth Social this morning greeted the Prime Minister as the governor of the 51st state, something along that line. Have you seen that? Do you have any thoughts about that, about the dynamics of the relationship?
I haven't seen that, so I probably shouldn't comment. Just that with the Truth Social post of Donald Trump planting a Canadian flag on a Canadian mountain, I have to say that to the extent that this 51st state thing was a joke, it's not funny. And I find that pursuing it on social media makes me increasingly nervous. Mr. Trump has, we have to be very, very careful with the president-elect, and we have to pull together, I think, all opposition party leaders and premiers, all elements of the Canadian political establishment, such as we are, better pull together to make sure we don't create any cracks that allow Fox News or Mr. Trump's social media to exploit us and say things about Canada that aren't true.
And Canadians are already embracing the American takeover, even singing their anthem at an ice hockey match.
So now you can see the division is everywhere, okay? The division, all right? Imploding, meaning exploding from the inside. And what does scripture say? If a devil be against the devil, he casts out himself. How can his kingdom stand? Okay? So these devils are falling apart. They're no longer agreeants. Okay? This is Revelation 17 and 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. Who is that whore? Spiritual Babylon. Okay? And they shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and shall burn her with fire. So once again, I propose the question, why not Canada? It don't have to be a large scale. Just a couple of them rockets come over here and tear up pieces of United States. Start off with Washington, okay? For real. I don't see them being below that, for real, okay? This is Revelations. Was that all on that, by the way? Oh, yes. Let's get this one too.
Recent example, which is of course Russia. As we know, with Russia's invasion of Ukraine a few years ago, the US responded by imposing heavy financial sanctions on Russia. They cut off major Russian banks from transactions involving US dollars. They froze assets and bank accounts that were held in the US, and ultimately these banks were cut off from the US financial markets. In March 2022, key Russian banks were also banned from using the SWIFT international payment system, which is the critical messaging infrastructure between international financial institutions that helps cross-border transfers happen. Around $300 billion of Russia's foreign currency reserves were frozen as they sat in US domiciled bank accounts, which meant that the money couldn't be used to settle trade transactions with other countries that want to be paid in US dollars. US investors were prohibited from purchasing or trading Russian government bonds, making it harder for the Russian government to raise more rubles to make up that shortfall. US firms and individuals were prohibited from making new investments in Russia, restricting Russian corporations from raising more money. The list of sanctions was extensive, and it had a massive impact on the Russian economy. According to the IMF, Russia's economy contracted by 2.1% in 2022, and output was expected to be 7% lower over the medium term, thanks to the severity of the sanctions placed on. Brings us to a much more recent example, which is of course Russia.
So you see, Russia and these nations are coming together. They're not playing. They have a solution to all the threats, all the tariffs that the United States tried to slap on them. It's not going to work. Okay, once again, the days of United States of America, NATO, going around threatening every country on earth, those days are over. Okay, the standard has been raised for these other countries to come to the battle. Okay, this is Revelations 18. Starting at verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon, the great is fallen. Spiritual Babylon is fallen. And it's become the inhabitations of devils and the hold of every foul spirit and every cage and a cage of every unclean, hateful bird. Okay? For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. Okay, by abiding by their policies, going along to get along, going along to get along. Okay, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, you so-called African Americans, Native Americans, Hispanics, that ye be not partakers in her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues." Okay, so come out of her. Disconnect yourself from this way of thinking. Stop living in this moment that you living in and thinking that this world should go on. Start turning to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua and seeking him in repentance. Okay, because this world will leave you deceived, and the whole time we're pushing farther and farther towards this moment. So you ask me then, what's stopping all this then? Kanan, what's the end all game since you telling us we're in World War III and this and that? It's called prophecy. And let's get straight to the major prophecy that's holding back. What is that right there? Elon kissing the robot, okay? The Optimus robot, which he wants to fuse with you, okay? He don't just want this in your bedroom. He wants you to be half this your damn self, okay? Through his technology, through Neuralink and whatnot, okay? So what's the importance of Elon Musk? Isn't he going into the new cabinet at some position, at some placement of the United States government under Trump's cabinet, under Nero, okay? So what? This is what's holding back the finishing touches of World War III. Revelations 13. Starting at 16, and he cause of all, with the help of Nero, okay, with the help of with the elites pushing him, because he's not the guy, he's not the one that is supplying the money. I'm sorry, Salakia. He's not funding. Okay, he's just a face there for those who are in the shadow. Okay, the shadow masters, the true elites. Okay, this is their will for the whole world. All right, he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bound, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. Once again, do your research. Neuralink, let's get it. Oh, I can't. Well, that mark, if you don't know right now, the mark goes into charagma. Okay, which is a pale, a stake, okay, an implant. And then you have Karax, which is a pale or a stake, okay? And how does these things are operated today in today's world? Through a syringe. It must be poked in you, okay? That's what Yahweh Bashem Yahushua has warned us against, that no man might buy or sell, save that he have the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of the beast, which is all the information is what wrapped up into all the data going through that chip as it's processing. Whether you walking through a store, through a door, it's telling you whereabouts, what you're doing, temperature of your body, chemicals in your body, on and on. Okay, but you'll be giving your soul to the beast. That's all that they're waiting for all of this total chaos to end. Okay. See these wicked ass Jakes out here? This is a Jake right now. He's been acting silly the whole time. But hey, the Lord got these 2/3 right where he want them. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3 and 9. Proclaim ye this amongst the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty man. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, agriculture equipment, John Deere's, tractors or whatnot. Stop going into making them and turn over these companies and start making sure that tanks and whatnot, all sorts of war devices are now being manufactured. Stop going into manufacturing of your plowshares and your tractors and your agriculture, and now think war, okay? and your prone hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong. Once again, North Korea has stepped in from being weak to knowing they strong. Okay, assemble yourselves and come ye all heathens and gather yourselves together around about. There cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh Shema Shah. Let the heathen be weakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, Armageddon. Okay, as you would call it, Jehoshaphat. For there will I set to judge all the heathen around about. Now, where is this Jehoshaphat? Over in Western Asia, where all the conflict is taking place right now. All of it, okay? Once again, we're just waiting for the few minor ingredients. Prophecy, MOTB. Is it here? Yes. Has it been mandated? No. Is it coming? Yes. Once again, you see it coming down the street. Elon Musk is going into the office, okay? Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get ye down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great, okay? Multitudes in the valley of decision. Once again, Armageddon. For the day of Yahweh Bashim Shai is near in the valley of decision. Was that going to be the valley of talking it out, coming together and coming to agreement on peace? Hell no. It's going to be the finishing of all this, all wars, the grand finale. Okay? The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Yahweh Bashim Shai also shall roar out of Zion. Roar. Is he going to whisper peaceably? Cut it out. No, roar. And utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake. But Yahweh Bashim Shai will be a hope of his people. You so-called African Americans, Native Americans, yes, including you speckled birds that look like the other nations. Your father goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, his seed. Those people. Strength of the children of Yasharallah. So once again, Yahweh, this is Joel 3:16. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua also shall roar out of Zion and utter the voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake. But Yahweh Bashim Yahushua will be the help of his people and the strength of the children of Yasharallah. Okay, and that's a promise. Now, okay. So meanwhile, his people, correct? But this is not who he's coming back. All right. So his people, you see, Edom got to still pay for this. You see that? Edom still got to pay for Teddy Roosevelt and the Edomites taking the northern and southern tribe and holding us. And what does it say? Any man to steal a man. Okay. All right. Look at him. Right there, they still got to pay for that. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua has promised not to forgive them for this. He's going to punish them for this. But meanwhile, what do we got over here? Looky here.
And you're the senator of his state, and she endorsed me. You must really hate her. No, it's a shame. It's a shame. Uh-oh.
I just love you.
No, that's why he's a great politician.
Still in love with the goddamn oppressor. We're going to end this off this. I pray that this has been edifying to the body. The water for hanging in there. Isaiah 31 and 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt, spiritual Egypt, right here in the United States of America. Whether you northern tribe and you've been here since captivity, whether you are Salakia, whether you southern tribe and you've been here since the transatlantic slave, or whether you northern tribe and you coming back home from them kicking you off your land and genociding our people. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses, okay? And trust in chariots. What's today's chariots? The military might. I'm just going to say the military because that's all you trusting in. And the government and Donald Trump, okay, to be your savior. Because they are many. And in horsemen, because they are very strong. At least they appear very strong. Because actually the United States is weak. We soft around every edge, okay? Thanks to the ABC agenda and just causing so many conflicts that we wearing ourselves thin in every direction, okay? But mainly due to the hearts failing. Because Yahweh Bashim Yahushua said that. but they look not to the Holy One of Yasharallah. I love you, Trump. Not I love Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, and I'm going to repent and turn to him for my safety. Because what? The name of the Lord is a safe tower. The righteous run into it. Nah, I love you, Trump. But they look not unto the Holy One of Yasharallah, neither seek Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Yea, he also is wise and will bring evil, bad times, and will not call back his words. Why? Because he's not a man to repent, but will arise against the house of the evildoers. Why don't y'all teach this in the whorehouses on Sunday? And against the help of them that work iniquity. I love you, Trump, Senator Scott. Okay. Now, the Egyptians, who are the modern day Egyptians, Edom, Esau, all over the world, they have the title. They've been given that from Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, are man and not gods. But you look at Nero, you look at Trump as being an orange god, though. And their horses flesh. And that's, once again, their military might, all their weapons and whatnot. That's all elements. Like Zaquan Elder Gabar says, you homo sapiens and your guns. You know, quoting from Magneto in the movie. That's true. Okay? When Yahweh Bashim Yahushua shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that upon shall fall down, and they shall fail together. So once again, I love you, Trump. I ain't gonna get you nothing but destroyed. Okay? With the rest of these heathens. All right? And with that, I pray that this has been edifying. It's a bloody world. Shalom.